Swim and dive is heading out to the Horizon League Championships.
And men's basketball is on a hot 4-game win streak.
All this and more coming up on this week's episode of the Penguin Rundown.
Welcome back to the Penguin Rundown, everybody. I'm Richie Giuliano alongside Monica Kurjan. Monica, it's a cold, frigid day here in Youngstown, Ohio, but luckily for our baseball team, they get to start off their season in Mississippi and then Florida.
I know, I'm pretty jealous of them. We had some nice warm temperatures last week, but then this week it's once again snow, and more snow. Yeah. But you know who doesn't have to deal with those cold outdoor temperatures is indoor track and field, and I think that's where you're going to start us off today.
Yes. The YSU track and field team had an impressive performance at the Kent State Doug Raymond qualifier. Junior Jalea Elliott won first again in the 60-meter dash, and senior Abby Jones cleared the high jump at 1.73 meters, winning first place. The women's 4x400 relay team, consisting of Eva Dimitrovich, Allison Green, Sarithia Henderson, and Jalea Elliott, posted the fastest time of the season of 3 minutes and 55.28 seconds. The Penguins will compete next at the Akron Zips Invitational next week. As for senior Chad Zallo, he competed in New York City at the Millrose Games in the 60-meter hurdles. Zallo placed third with a time of 7.69 seconds. He also was competing against some of the best runners, such as Devin Allen and Jonathan Cabral, who were Olympic runners. This was the second fastest time Zallo had posted in the 2018-2019 season. Congrats to him on a top 3 finish.
The men's tennis team traveled to Chicago to do battle with DePaul on Friday night. Unfortunately, the Gwins dropped the match by a final score of 6-1. The lone win of the day for YSU came from freshman Eric Gran as he picked up a singles victory. Then on Saturday, the men traveled to take on Valparaiso. The men dropped this contest as well by a final score of 6-1, with YSU earning their lone win in doubles play thanks to the duo of Donlo Vermachek and Jao Garretto. The men will return to the court this Friday in Streetsboro as they will host Toledo, then take on Binghamton on Sunday in Cleveland. The women's team had a busy weekend as they took on UNLV on Friday and then Weber State and UTEP on Saturday. The women dropped the match against UNLV, getting shut out 7-0. However, on Saturday, the women were able to split their matches by dropping a close match against Weber State 4-3 and coming out victorious 4-3 against UTEP. In the victory, the Gwins had contributions from Lisa Kamasi, Cassandra Merlea, Elvira Esteo, and Claudia Barboza, earning singles victories. The women will return to play this Friday as they host Toledo at the Western Reserve Tennis Center in Streetsboro at 6 p.m.
The baseball team opens up their season this Friday on the road at Mississippi State. The Gwins are looking to bounce back from last season as they finished 18-38 and 10-19 in the Horizon League. For this upcoming 2019 season, the Gwins roster entails 9 seniors, 6 juniors, 10 sophomores, as well as a big new class of 10 freshmen. The Penguins have multiple players named on the top watch list in the Horizon League. These players include senior relief pitcher Joel Hake, junior outfielder Blaze Glenn, sophomore infielder Jeff Whaler, and senior first baseman Trevor Wiersma. Our very own Christina Stainovich got to catch up with Jeff Whaler, Blaze Glenn, and Coach Bertolini to hear what they had to say about this upcoming season.
So what's it going to take for this team to play at a really high level of competitiveness, not only throughout the whole season, but especially this first month on the road?
I think just playing relaxed and being consistent. You know, that's what we've talked about. Is we had a lot of inconsistencies last year, and with a little bit older group, most of these guys were all here last year, so I think they understand the expectations. Last year we let it snowball at times, and this year I think we just have our feet underneath us, and we'll be ready to hopefully sustain success throughout the course of the year.
So this is your 3rd year as manager of this team, and the team has shown improvement each of the last 2 seasons. What's it going to take for the team to come together and make it all click this season?
Well, I think hopefully winning will help, but just playing good baseball. This group really gets along. They have they have great team chemistry. They love each other, so it makes practice very easy. It makes coming to the ballpark every day and coming to the Watts every day really enjoyable. So, I don't think it's going to really come from much from us. These guys have things under control, and I'm excited to see kind of where it goes.
So you guys are starting off against 2 nationally ranked teams. How are you guys preparing for this?
We're preparing in a lot of ways, whether it's hitting and fielding. Coaches are speeding the game up for us as far as hitting goes. I mean, the machines have been pretty fast, so we're just kind of trying to get on a velocity level because they're going to have some good pitchers. So, I mean, we're preparing in ways that we should be preparing. So we'll figure it out, and we'll just do it.
So between practices and workouts, what is the team energy like?
The team energy has been great. I feel everyone's prepared to go down and give it all we got against Mississippi State and try to start the season off right and get a couple wins.
Thank you, Christina, for catching up with the team before their big opener. The first month of the baseball season will be spent on the road, and the Gwins will not return home until March 22nd when they take on Oakland at Eastwood Field. Be sure to check out YSU's road trip on YSUsports.com for live scores and updates.
Softball traveled to South Carolina this past weekend as they competed in the USC Upstate Tournament in the Spartan Classic. Unfortunately, they would go winless on the weekend. On day 1, they fell to East Carolina 11-4. Then against Towson, the Penguins would be shut out 8-0. Next, they headed to the Spartan Classic. The Penguins fell to Miami of Ohio 6-0 and finished the weekend against USC Upstate 2-1. The Penguins are back in action on February 22nd through the 24th at the UNC-CHARLOTTE tournament. You can check YSUsports.com for live stats and more on the team. Now, football is still a ways away, but the Penguins have been at work picking up a number of new signees. We're going to send it over to Christina and Matt at the roundtable for more on the newest additions to the football team.
Thanks, Monica. And there are some new additions that we're going to talk about, but really quick, I want to talk about, Matt, some of those key starters that we're going to lose, including quarterback Montgomery Van Gorder, Tevin McCaster, but especially on the defensive side, Armand Delavade, who led the team in tackles. He's a big team leader. He's played all 4 seasons, so that's a big team leader that you're missing out. But also Savon Smith, who as a defensive tackle has the ability to create havoc in the backfield, put pressure on the quarterbacks, tackles for loss, and also a team leader. He's contributed to all 4 of his seasons. So who's coming in maybe that could help fill those roles?
Definitely. I think definitely there are some guys that can help fill those roles. Sheriff Jamison is a guy who comes to mind for me. He is a 3-star defensive end from right here in our own backyard at Cardinal Mooney. I mean, he is great size, 6'4", 230. That'll definitely help rushing the passer. And then Alex Howard, a linebacker. His senior season, he only played 6 games because he missed 4 due to injury, but his junior season, he was excellent. He forced 2 fumbles and 6 sacks. I mean, as a linebacker, you're not typically going to be rushing the passer, but to know that he put up those numbers can tell you what a great football IQ he has.
Absolutely. That's really important and could help him develop a leadership role in the future. But we're also losing out, again, on Van Gorder, like I said, and that's going to create a quarterback competition, I think. Nate Mays, we expect to come in and take that role. He has started before for the Gwins. He's able to run the ball, which we do a lot. We don't always pass. We like to have the option to run or pass, but like to open up that run game more importantly. But also Tevin McCaster. He's going to go down in the record books for the Gwins, running back. But Christian Turner's going to come in and fill his shoes, I believe. And he had the chance to sit behind McCaster and learn some of his game and take it into Turner's and make it his own. And hopefully he can come in and put his name in the record books as well.
Yes, and speaking of Mays, he's going to have a lot of competition. Mark Wade, a new freshman quarterback we just signed from Girard. I mean, talk about stuff in the stat sheet. As a quarterback at Girard, he threw for 11,000 yards. 11,000 yards in high school. That's good for 4th best in the history of Ohio football. 4th best ever. I mean, that is incredible. Then 117 passing touchdowns. I mean, this guy is really going to push Mays. I mean, he's a great pickup.
Absolutely. And I think that quarterback competition is going to develop both quarterbacks.
Exactly.
That way, after Mays graduates next year, Wade can come in and fill that starter role and lead the team back to hopefully national championship after national championship, especially with the strength of an offensive line coming in. We've got some good recruits coming in there. But that'll do it for us here at the roundtable. We're going to send it over to Monica and Richie for more.
Thank you, Matt and Christina, on the intel for our new signees. As for the women's basketball team, they went 1-1 on their short road trip. On Thursday, the women fell to IUPUI 64-44. A bright spot for the women was provided by Mary Dunn, who scored 14 points. As for Saturday, the women returned with a vengeance, blowing out UIC 83-59. The Gwins were led once again by Mary Dunn with 22 points, and as well as Chelsea Olsen, who had a double-double with 12 points and 10 rebounds. The win was an extra special one as it was head coach John Barnes' 100th win. The Gwins will return to the Beagley Center Friday to battle Green Bay in a game between second and third place in the conference. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m.
The men's basketball team picked up 2 more wins this past week against the Milwaukee Panthers and the Green Bay Phoenix. On Thursday night, the Penguins pulled off a 72-71 win on a 3-point buzzer beater by sophomore Garrett Covington. Junior Devin Morgan put up 21 points and tied his career-high 5 made three-pointers. Sophomore Naz Bohannon had his third double-double of the season with 15 points and 11 rebounds. Our very own Christina Stainovich had the chance to catch up with Covington and Morgan this past week.
So you hit the game-winning buzzer beater against Milwaukee on Thursday. Can you take me through those moments of the game?
Well, there's a couple seconds left, and originally Darius, we were going to try and get it down, and if he can shoot a layup and we'll send it to overtime, that was it. Just attack the glass. But when the defense collapsed as he's driving, Naz cut, and I initially thought Naz was supposed to get the ball, but then it just kind of came to me, and I just had to put it up.
So the team is on a 4-game win streak now. What has clicked for you guys?
I think defensively, we're getting defensive stops. We're going on runs, and we're converting. When we get defensive stops, we score on the other end. So I think that's big for us.
So in Thursday's game, you had 21 points and you hit 5 threes, and then Saturday you had 10 and you hit 2 more threes. So have you been able to have the success?
Just getting up extra reps outside of practice, getting in the gym early before games with Coach Slay. Some of my teammates were just getting up extra shots, to stay in a rhythm. And then my teammates have been finding me in great situations. So we've been running plays to get me wide open shots, and I've just been able to knock them down.
So there's 3 home games left and 5 overall. What's the team's mindset like heading into this last stretch?
We're just taking it a day at a time, with the success we've had. We're just trying to figure out what's worked with us, what's worked for us, what's clicked for us, and taking a day at a time in practice. And then each game, you don't want to look too far down the line, but each game at a time, we're trying to win. We're trying to win out.
Thanks again, Garrett and Devin. On Saturday, the Gwins had their biggest win of the season, beating the Phoenix 96-77. Freshman Darius Quisenberry led the team with 24 points, tying his career high. 5 other players also scored in double digits, and the team had their best field goal percentage of the season at 53.6%. Quisenberry was also named the Nike Horizon League Freshman of the Week for the 2nd week in a row. Extending their win streak to 4, these 2 wins take the Penguins to 10-16 overall and 6-7 in the Horizon League. The team closes out their homestand this week, facing IUPUI tonight at 7 p.m. and UIC on Saturday at 6 p.m.
The bowling team had a busy weekend competing in the Sunshine State Winter Classic. Though they placed 10th overall, they had good individual stats, placing in the top 6 in all but 2 sets. To see the full list of stats, visit YSUsports.com. The team is taking the next few weeks off and is looking forward to competing at the Hawk Flight Invite on March 1st. We wish the best of luck to the team moving forward.
The swim and dive team finally returned to the pool after a 2.5-week hiatus for the Horizon League Championships. The meet began yesterday and will continue through the end of the week and on Saturday. Look for sophomore standout Ida Urinovich to have a strong weekend for the Gwins. For live stats and updates, be sure to check out YSUsports.com. Good luck to Coach Purdy, Ida, and the rest of the team as they finish out the weekend.
It is time for this week's Play of the Week. It is a good one, and we're going to send it over to Chris Colella, who's got more for us.
Thanks, guys. This week's Penguin Play of the Week goes to sophomore Garrett Covington. Crank it up to 10. Let's check it out.
Quisenberry with 3 seconds to go. Drives, bounce pass. Covington near sideline for the win. Good! It's good! Covington with the game winner. They'll go to the...
Garrett Covington with the game winner. That's right, Quisenberry kicks it out to Covington, getting it off with just a 1/10 of a second to go, capturing the number 3 spot on the SportsCenter Top 10 that evening. Congratulations to Garrett Covington and the entire YSU men's basketball squad. Monica and Richie, back over to you.
Thanks again, Chris. That's all for us here at the Penguin Rundown. For news, highlights, and more, check out YSUsports.com and be sure to follow us on all of our social medias, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Snapchat at Penguin Rundown 1. I'm Monica Kurjan.
And I'm Richie Giuliano.
See you next Thursday, Penguin Nation.